Hi guys, welcome back to our channel. It's Jen. So today I'm going to be creating this really beautiful bronzy eye look using the Jackie Aina palette. All of the products that I'll be using will be listed in the description box down below, so please keep watching and enjoy. So first I went in with my Lancôme primer and I'm putting that all over my face so that I can have a nice smooth base before I apply my foundation. Now I'm going to use my LA Girl Pro Concealer and I'm placing that on the dark spots that I have on my chin and above my upper lip so that I can have a nice even complexion base to work with when I start putting on my foundation. Next, I'm going in with my Too Faced Born This Way Multi-Use Sculpting Concealer. I'm using the color Chestnut and I'm placing that all over my eyelids so that when I blend it out and I start putting my shadows on over it, the shadows will show up a lot more vividly on my skin. So right now I'm just using my beauty blender to blend that in nicely into my eyes. And once I'm done, I'm going to set that with my Fenty Beauty Powder before I start applying my eyeshadow. So now that I'm done setting my concealer with powder, it's time for shadows, and I'm using my Jackie Aina palette. So I'm going to be going in with two colors from the palette, but before I use those colors, I'm going to be using my Sephora blush palette. There's a nice warm brown in there that I'm going to use as my transition shade. Now that I'm done blending in that shade, I'm going to go in with the color Credit from Jackie Aina's palette, and I'm putting that in my crease and kind of in my outer V. And so I'm going to be sweeping that lightly back and forth to make sure that it blends nicely with my transition shade. So now that both shadows are blended and seamless, I'm going to be going back into the palette, and for my lid I'm going to be using the color Zam. It's a really nice kind of goldy champagne color that really pops on the lid. So I once tried using a brush to put this on and I found that it was a lot more complicated and the pigment wasn't as deep, so I used my fingers instead, and it's actually quite effective and works a lot better than brushes when it comes to putting this shadow on your eyes. So I highly recommend using your fingers to blend and pat in. So just, you know, lightly tap into the palette and then lightly tap on the product onto your eyes and blend accordingly. So I'm kind of doing a nice spotlight effect so that the color flows from my inner corner and doesn't reach all the way to the outer V. And then I'm going back in with my original brush that I used for my transition shade just to blend in Zam with both of the other shadows. So I'm going to keep adding more of Zam to my lid until I feel like it's as bronzy and bright and vivid as I want it to be. And then afterwards, I'll move on to applying my foundation. Never should worry, it's the story, that's the end of the story. foundation time. So I'm going to go in with my NYX Can't Stop Won't Stop foundation in the color Mocha, and I'm going to be using my flat top brush to blend that all into my face.
Don't play with it, don't be dishonest. Ay, still not understanding its logic. Ay, I'm back and I'm better. I want you bad as ever. Don't let me just let up. I wanna give you better. Maybe it's whatever. Somebody gotta step up. Gonna let somebody show 'em next up. Be damned if I let 'em catch up. It's easy to see that you're fit up. I am on a whole nother level. Barely only you over cause you let 'em. Girl, I guess you didn't know any better.
Alright, foundation is done. Next is lashes and concealer. So once again, I'm using my Too Faced Born This Way multi-use sculpting concealer in the color Chestnut, and I've applied that under my eyes, down the bridge of my nose, on my forehead, and on my chin. And I'm using my beauty blender to blend that in nicely into my face, and make sure that it melds in seamlessly with my foundation.
Said the kids don't play games, and it's loving ain't the same. I don't know what to say, but what a shame. If you were mine, you would not get the same. If you were mine, you would top everything. Suicide in the drop, switch your lanes in the thing. So fire, baby, no propane. Got good, girl, can I be framed? Keep it 100, girl, I ain't no saint. But he the only reason that I'm feeling this way. Giving you the word, baby, when you get space, pen gang, give me lay, baby, that's penetrate. Oh, baby.
So now that I'm done using my beauty blender, I'm using my foundation brush to buff out any harsh lines that I noticed left behind by the concealer. So that's on my cheeks and also down the bridge of my nose, so that everything looks blended and works nicely together. Alright, so I'm done buffing out my concealer on my face, so I'm going to conceal my brows using the LA Girl Pro Concealer in the color Toffee.
Don't want to feel you, don't want you on my mind. Don't want to feel you, don't want you on my mind. Why not would I leave if you were everything I wanted you to be? When I saw what you did, who you were with, got me questioning the things that I believe. So I ask myself, do I let you go or do I keep you in the frame of my mind?
And now I'm just blending in that concealer with a nice flat brush to make sure that it melds in nicely with the rest of my eye look. Now that I'm done blending out that concealer, I'm going in with my Fenty Beauty powder in the color Cashew to set my face. So I'm applying that in all the same places that I applied my concealer earlier.
Don't want you on my mind. You were good, why'd you call? I don't need to hear you crying out my name. And like before, when you and I lay eye to eye, now it's time for you to taste the bitter end. So I ask myself, do I let you go?
Alright, Alright y'all, it's my favorite part, lip combo time. So right now I'm using my MAC lip liner in Chestnut. Then I'm going to use a Fenty Beauty concealer, and then I'll top it off with my e.l.f. clear gloss. Now I'm just sweeping off all of that excess powder that I left on earlier from baking my face. Alright, so here's the part that really ties this look together, guys. So I'm placing this beautiful gold highlight from my Sephora blush palette on the tip of my nose, and then I'm also going to use that same color as my inner corner highlight. This is just such a beautiful combination. Honestly, it catches the light. It makes your eyes look so open, so beautiful, and just so gorgeous. Honestly, wherever you go, you'll be the center of attention with this look. And now I'm going to go into that same palette and use the two pink blushes and apply that to the apples of my cheeks to give me a nice healthy glow. Alright y'all, I'm done, and here's the final look.
Don't want to feel you, don't want you on my mind. Don't want to feel you, don't want you on my mind. Don't want to feel you, don't want you on my mind.
Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed making it. See you next time. Bye.
Don't want you on my mind.